Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're doing something a little bit different and honestly a lot of fun. We're going to build the ultimate instructional script together. We're using a high-stakes, freezing cold scenario, a completely dead car battery, as our practical case study. So whether you're looking to master the mechanical chops to save a stranded driver, or you just want to know how to structure information so perfectly that your audience literally cannot look away, you're in the exact right place. We are going to completely deconstruct the anatomy of a perfect how-to presentation. Let's get into it. To kick things off, we're going to use a classic technique called opening a loop. I'm going to ask you right now, what should you do when a frozen, completely dead car battery threatens to literally explode right in your face? And on top of that, how exactly do you explain avoiding that disaster perfectly on camera? Keep that in the back of your mind, all right? Because we're going to answer that life-saving question very soon. To actually pull this off, we're bringing in the heavy artillery. We're deploying video strategy expert Justin Brown's 5-step template. Think of this as your insider's secret weapon for content creation. It is ruthlessly efficient. You hook the viewer immediately, you deliver a brief intro to set the context, you dive straight into the core content, you over-deliver with a surprise bonus, and then you finish with a strong call to action, or CTA. No fluff, just pure, actionable value. Okay, let's look at this pacing data from DrawStory because it shows exactly why we need such a tight structure. When you're speaking at a natural conversational pace, like I am right now, you really only have about 150 words per minute. So if you want to create a punchy 60-second rescue guide, you literally only have 150 words to play with. Every single sentence of your Jumpstart instructions absolutely has to earn its keep. Section 1, the essential Jumpstart steps. Let's jump right into the content portion of our script and see how we actually build the core mechanical steps to rescue a stranded driver. To deliver exactly what we promised, your script must clearly contrast the two main rescue methods. You've got to let your audience know what tools they're working with. On one hand, you have traditional jumper cables. These absolutely require a second-running donor vehicle and some thick, heavy-gauge wires to handle the electrical resistance of the cold. But on the other hand, you have modern portable power packs. These are self-contained lithium units that usually feature smart, no-spark polarity protections. Now, if you're scripting instructions for traditional jumper cables, you've got to make the sequence unforgettable. You can embed this highly memorable mnemonic from Big Brand Tire right into your script. Red dead, red donor, black ground. Got it? That means the red positive clamp goes to the dead battery, then the other red goes to the good donor battery. Next, the black negative goes to the donor battery, and finally, the black clamp goes to a ground on the dead car. So here is the absolute crucial point. Why is that last connection a ground? Well, as your script really needs to emphasize, the final electrical connection always creates a spark. And since lead-acid batteries can vent highly flammable hydrogen gas, well, you do the math. Placing that final sparking connection on an unpainted metal surface on the engine block far, far away from the battery itself prevents a catastrophic hydrogen gas explosion. It keeps your viewer's car intact and, saves their eyebrows. But what if your audience uses a portable unit like the ones highlighted by the H&M Reloaded channel? Well, the script changes. First, remind them to match the Jumpstarter's peak amps to their engine's liter size. And while those smart protections prevent the scary reverse polarity sparks we just talked about, you have to tell your audience to look for one absolutely critical feature, the boost button. Without a manual boost override, many of these smart packs simply will not recognize or start a battery that has 0 voltage. Moving right along to Section 2, the cold weather plot twist. A really great explainer tells a story. So let's introduce a scientific plot twist. Bring in a principle, like the Arrhenius equation, to explain exactly why winter mornings are the ultimate enemy of car batteries. And hey, you don't need a chemistry degree to understand this. It basically just predicts how a battery's electrochemical reactions crawl to a sluggish halt in the freezing cold. Think of a battery as just a box of chemical reactions. When the temperature drops, those reactions just can't produce electrons fast enough to power a car's starter motor. Just look at this data from Battery Tender. It shows the stark reality of this chemical slowdown. At a nice, warm 80 degrees Fahrenheit, your battery is humming along at 100% capacity. But at negative 20 degrees, that capacity plummets to just 40%. And to make matters even worse, freezing temperatures cause your engine oil to thicken up dramatically. So now the engine demands up to 3 times the normal cranking amps just to turn over. It is literally the perfect storm of low power and high demand. And boom, here is where we close the loop we opened at the very beginning of this explainer. If a deeply discharged battery freezes, the ice expansion inside can actually cause its outer case to bulge or crack. If you attempt to jumpstart a frozen battery, the sudden influx of current could ignite trapped hydrogen gas and cause a violent acid explosion. So your script must clearly and firmly instruct viewers to move a frozen battery to a warm location and let it thaw for a full 24 hours before attempting anything. Seriously, do not mess with a frozen battery. Section 3. Capturing the perfect visuals. Because a great script is really only half the battle, right? It needs compelling visuals to match. When it's time to film the interior steps, like making sure the car is in park and the accessories are turned off, take this brilliant advice from George Otto. Just quickly flip all the sun visors up, square the steering wheel so it's perfectly straight, and tap your smartphone screen to lock the exposure for the cabin lighting. That's it. Doing this instantly transforms a messy amateur shot into a really clean, stunning visual that keeps the viewer entirely focused on your instructions.
All right, Section 4, bonus, mistakes to avoid.
Following Justin Brown's script formula, this is the part where it's time to over-deliver. You want to rapidly fire off these 5 critical errors sourced from LifeMosher. We've already covered the connection sequence and pack selection, but you really want to emphasize the others. Trying to jump a car using a portable pack that has a low battery itself, or leaving that lithium pack sitting in extreme summer sun or winter cold will drastically shorten the life of the power supply. People so often just throw these packs in their trunk and completely forget them, so remind your audience to take them out and charge them regularly. And for a final bonus tip, firmly warn your audience about the rule of 10. They should only ever crank the engine for a maximum of 10 seconds before pausing for at least 30 seconds. If they just sit there, grinding the ignition continuously in a desperate attempt to get the car started, they risk completely overheating and melting their starter motor. And just like that, they've turned a simple dead battery into a massive, multi-$100 repair bill. Nobody wants that.
Finally, Section 5, the call to action, or CTA.
Look, this isn't just about asking for a quick like or a subscribe. This is where we anchor why all of this dense technical information actually matters to the viewer's daily life. End your explainer by truly empowering your viewers. Remind them that by mastering these life-saving mechanical steps, respecting the cold, understanding the chemistry, making the right connections, they become a hero to anyone stranded on the side of the road. And by knowing how to confidently script, pace, and visually share that knowledge, they become a hero online too. So what skill are you going to master, script, and explain next?